Welcome back, everyone, to the LCS Challengers League. Game number 1 already done, and as strange as it was a dub picked up for TSM. Did you feel, as we did, Kill, that it was kind of a weird game, to say the least?
Yeah, definitely a very weird game, and I don't even know how AOE can kind of play past early game, honestly, with the draft. Yeah, just a hard game for AOE, I think.
Yeah. I think if they had some champion that could kill Hanser, like, it becomes playable, but like no one could, and because Hanser got ahead, it just got worse and worse and worse. And you know, maybe there's an opportunity for them to change things up, but picking the AD carry in the second half, I think, really limited their ability to like outdraft TSM.
All right, well, I'm gonna take my car keys. I'm gonna hand them over to Kill, because Kill will be managing our next halftime segment, and that is gonna be based or misplaced. Kill, please go ahead, take it away.
So the first quote, Twitch chat honestly was speechless about this game. The first one is just, why are they focusing Sion top div? Based or misplaced?
That's pretty based, honestly. Like, there is not a whole lot that could really be done there. Like, Gamsu spent like 3 or 4 times like trying to fight Hanser and wasn't able to win any single one of those. So, you know, whoever said it, like, good take.
That was such a funny game to me, because we looked at the draft and we set expectations. TSM gonna play towards the bottom lane. It's just a Hanser angle. It was always a Hanser angle. There was never gonna be any other angle. So I'm gonna go with based as well. I think this is a base take.
Yeah. Okay, I have to agree it's based. The next one is just Sion ulting into the bot wall, just for context, and it was just Keck W. What did I just watch? Based or misplaced?
That one's tough. That one's a little bit tougher, because I think like it's kind of like a little bit more on the edge. Like, it just didn't matter at all. So it's like, you know, it's one of those small things. I'm gonna lean towards based at the very least, because if we can't be critical of our players when they're winning, then who can we be critical of?
You know, originally I was gonna say misplaced, because he literally misplaced the ultimate. Man, you can't get much more literal than that. But the moment he turned around and still walked towards them and started emoting, that's when he became based. So there's
I hard agree. He earned the base with the emote.
He earned it at the end. Yeah. No, Hanser had some pretty good emote game this entire game, and hopefully he'll continue to showcase that a little bit more.
I think also when he failed, he realized he could have literally just 1v2'd, walked at them, and lived.
Yeah.
So it's just a good learning experience for him too. Okay, the next one we just got Doxa diff at the end with the Akali play.
Okay.
Very clean Akali play, yeah.
Okay, that last play from Doxa was sick, right? We have not seen a whole lot from Doxa throughout that game, right? They got first blooded, and you know, they were there for a lot of it. But that last play, killing Lings and Skytech at the same time with a shuriken flip, like, that was pretty clean. I'm gonna give that one another based.
Okay, this is a tough one for me, because I'm actually a really big Doxa fan. I never shut up about it, and blah 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 went throughout 2021, yada yada.
Drops out.
But I don't know. I want to see early game Doxa. I want to see plays there. This feels a little bit misplaced, because I wish I saw it earlier in the game, rather than overly at the end when it's already in a good punctuation point on a fought well traversed for TSM. So I hate to say it. I really hate to say it. Misplaced.
Ooh.
I'll give him a base, because I think there's, like, you know, he could just AFK that game and pretty much win. So I got no issue with it.
Yeah, just going for something a little bit cool. All right, what else you got, Kill?
Okay, we got another one has to be addressed, is why is TSM using old washed up players in Academy instead of young up and coming players from good old Twitch chat?
Oh, we have great speeches about this.
I'm gonna let Eric go first here.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sure, I'll take it. You know, we had an interview with Svenskeren where he did talk about this before, and it's like, what happens if he's dropped from a main team? How's he supposed to get back in? What is he supposed to do? If you cut off semi-pro as a place for some of these veterans to go, well, you're cutting off pretty much their only route to get back into the scene. So I do think that's a completely misplaced take. It also ignores the fact that having veteran talent alongside your young talent on the scene, that veteran talent helps bolster a lot of these young players, such as Doxa, who Svenskeren has said in the past is willing to learn, is willing to grow, and enjoys working with them. It's a misplaced take through and through. You should feel bad about yourself, whoever put that in Twitch chat.
That last part is a little bit far, but I'm gonna back up a little bit and say that I think a lot of younger players or a lot of people who are not fans of traditional sports are going to kind of look at it and feel that way. But we also have to kind of look at some of the other teams that are like that, right? We just watched Evil Geniuses Challengers who are playing with Ryoma, King, and Smoothie. These guys have been around the block for a while as well. And so when we look at this TSM squad, we have to kind of remember that their careers could potentially be 10, 15 years or longer as this game goes further and further. And we're seeing players like Bjergsen and Doublelift continue to have success after all this time. They are not going to have a great year every year. We've been seeing this in traditional sports for years. Injuries or times where they aren't necessarily just adapting to the meta well will happen. This will be an opportunity for them to come back. And with a player like Dokla being a perfect example of that, he was not great for years, but he went for the grind. He found his way back. These players, I mean, they don't look great right now, but then this is, as you said, Eric, this is where they're supposed to be. They're supposed to have an opportunity to try and grind their way back up, and it's up to them to use that time well. So I'm going to say misplaced, but I understand why it is, but I also think, let's go back and see what else are the players supposed to do in order to find their way back.
Yeah, I agree. The take is mostly garbage, but I understand the idea.
Yeah.
Just in general, it's pretty bad, and it's pretty clear, they're just pro players. They have been very good, and it's pretty reasonable to assume they could be good. From an org side, I understand.
Yeah.
And yeah, really, as long as everyone is working hard to get their shot, there's nothing wrong with it. Yeah.
I want to throw a question your way off of that, Kill. Is there anyone you've worked with in the past who has been that kind of leadership role, who's given you some of their experience to help boost you up?
Yeah, I think the main one for me was Pobelter. I played with him after pretty much 2 weeks on CLG, because he was subbing in for Academy for pretty much the whole split. And it was a pretty cool experience because he was he's just a wildly successful LCS player in the past, and I got to work with him and see how he thinks about the game, and just base my thinking about League off of his was a pretty good experience. So yeah, and from firsthand, I think it's pretty valuable for a new team.
Yeah. As a relatively young player compared to a lot of these guys, I guess another question that I have for you, Keel, is a lot of people have said that there have been a split or sometimes a year where they just didn't recognize or weren't doing what it takes in order to make sure that they can stay to the top of the game. How do you feel like some of these players can kind of bounce back and really reinvigorate themselves?
I think it's always just up to the individual. You just have to find motivation within yourself, and as long as your team is working hard and the environment's good, there's no reason that you can't succeed in any environment. Yeah.
All right. You got one more for us, Keel?
The last one is just another Doxa diff in the early game. This one's from Donbray. Yeah.
Sorry, what?
Just shouting out the Doxa diffs. Yeah.
Oh, Doxa diff in the early game?
Yeah, nothing happened. Just a pure Doxa diff. Yeah.
Just a pure Doxa diff. I don't know. I would have to say that one might be misplaced. Doxa did nothing until the last 30 seconds of the game.
Yeah. As I said, I wanted those plays to come earlier, so it is a little bit misplaced. But also, they just didn't we didn't have anything early on. Donbray, I respect you as a player. I just gotta throw that out there. But come on, man, what's going on here?
Come on, man.
Yeah, has to be misplaced.
All right. Well, that's been based or misplaced. Thank you so much for facilitating this one for us, Kill. As we head into the next game, is there anything you want to see different heading into this next draft?
New drafts for AOE. Doing damage is usually good for a team comp. That's my only note.
I like it.
Straight into the point. Gotta absolutely love it. Well, we'll head into the draft of game number 2, and we'll see you on the other side, Keel.
Yep, thank you.
All right. Well, as we jump into this one, Eric, also, I haven't been doing my shoutouts. Make sure, for everybody in Twitch chat, it is time to go follow at PerryJGLOL on Twitter. We're doing a bit of a competition. We'll have more stuff coming out with him on Monday. But until then, we'll see how much you guys can actually pump up those numbers for us.
And if you don't want to listen to Josh and his... Oh my god, I got stuck on my guitar. Hold on, I'm fighting. You can instead follow... Hold on. He changed his Twitter name before. Give me a second. I'm filling in. You can follow Aaron01 from CLG Faith. or Bo Cruz, sometime we call him, NBA Aaron. That's where CLG actually picked him up, by the way. It was a pickup. They traded him out from Chicago Bulls, brought him over here. But be sure to follow him on Twitter. That is, again, Aaron, AIRREN01. We have a draft going on, Josh.
We have a draft going on.
Not allowed to advertise anymore.
Maybe. Okay, but no Caston ban this time. Instead, it's going to be both junglers, the Sejuani and the Maokai, being banned out from AoE. So at the very least, something is changing in this draft. We will see how AoE do choose to adapt. And I agree with Keel. Doing damage is good. There was not a whole lot of easy access to damage, or at least consistent damage coming out from AoE, right? Like, even with the Misfortune, I would have loved to see it a bit more of a crit-style Misfortune, so you can actually be aggressive that way. And they are pivoting hard from the Sejuani earlier. Now, they're taking one of the more difficult junglers to actually pilot and putting the onus on themselves to actually make the plays to make this work. And this is the kind of AoE that I really enjoy watching, because even if they don't win, they're going to try and do things.
Tell me, this right here, is this a face you want to follow? You see this? You see this cash money? Only comes from Aaron. Go to that Twitter. Go to that Twitter. Oh, whoa, I didn't realize you're going to swap it. There we go. All that. All CLG Aaron. All right. You were done advertising. I wasn't. Back into
you were the one who said we needed to be done. I feel betrayed at this point.
You know, I do too. We got a segment for that, Josh. You don't just you wait. Wild Turtle's going to throw it back to that Xayah once again. And you know what? I liked it.
Ooh! Okay. All right.
We're getting spicy.
AoE are
now.
Early game. AoE are ready to go.
Damage.
They're going to be doing a ton of damage early on in the game, and they need to find leads in order to make this actually work. This is what we were kind of looking for from them. Maybe not this hard of a pivot, but it's definitely a big opportunity for them to try and really find advantages, particularly through the bottom lane. Wild Turtle and Dragku, I mean, other than the one time where Wild Turtle had to run away from like 4 people, were never really tested that game because Svenskeren helped them out the one time that Winnie really came towards the bottom side. And so, I mean, you're going to get a bit of an arms race, right? Kalista is going to struggle to kill Sion later on, but if you get ahead of the curve and Haunter doesn't become stupid massive again, AoE can do it.
And Wild Turtle has shown he's got some pretty good hands on this Xayah. That mid lane play is what pops out to me from last game, where they're ganking Wild Turtle and he still takes down Lynx before going down. Great to have that with the Xayah locked in, but it's another repeat, and that is going to be the Sion that's also locked in for TSM Challengers. So, I mean, this was a little bit weird for me because I thought it was supposed to play for the bottom side, but it has shown Haunter can carry from the top side with Sion.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a position where Haunter's job was made super easy, right? One of the stories I love telling is I have like 85% win rate on Mundo in tournaments, Clash, and like ranked flex, because I would only ever play it when the champion was stupid broken and would win the draft because my opponents had no damage, and I just slowly run them all over. This is a very similar thing that happened last game for Haunter, where his character was completely unkillable, and unless you put him in the dirt, you were never going to be killing him in the first place. This time, now, after 30 minutes, Doxa will be unkillable again, so AoE are on a timer to actually make sure that they can win.
All right, first phase of the draft done. TSM are attacking the mid lane pool of Darkwings. They will take away the Azir as well as the Victor, but it's going to be returned. AoE going after Doxa. Doxa looked good at the tail end of that game game 1, excuse me, with the Akali. Kassadin, we've seen how well he can perform on it. Specifically, these kind of snowbally assassin type picks we've been seeing out of Doxa. But AoE are throwing down the gauntlet. They want to fight in the bottom lane. Renata will be paired with that Kalista.
Yeah, and this is a classic lane from what we were seeing in Worlds 2022, most of summer 2022. And the thing that you will have to know is that they are unlikely to be preying on Wild Turtle. They're going to be in this lane trying to kill Dragku, right? Dragku is now back on the Nautilus, one of the primary engage tools. A little bit redundant with how much engage they already have, but will be doing a lot in order to create space in the front line. And with Darkwings on this Orianna, I mean, the big thing is going to be how well does Dragku actually move around and get some of these early engages to go their way. And this would be exciting as well, right? Doxa, very well known for their Zoe play, also with Bolulu. Like, both these guys really love playing the Zoe, and this is a matchup that is very volatile, right? If Doxa gets a bit of a lead in this, it's very difficult for the Orion to interact due to the short range, but before you really pop off on the Zoe, Oriana can actually fight quite a bit with just the consistency of damage you can put out.
The thing is, I'm not as excited. I know Zoe has been a big Doxa champion in the past. I remember seeing it a lot with Evil Genius's Prodigies during his time with there. It's just he hasn't really had good performances as of lately on this Zoe. Has pulled it out twice, and once against Team Liquid Challengers, again against Immortals, and both times it kind of floundered by the wayside. It didn't really have that impact. Doxa is capable of playing it, but again, it feels like it falls into the same situation we were talking about last game where Doxa needs setup.
Was Doxa against Bululu, or was he against ABO?
That's a good question. Let me check that.
Yeah, because I think that could definitely like change how you think about that, because Bululu is arguably one of the best Zoes in the world. So
was Bululu.
Yeah, Bululu Zoe is sick. So here we go, Beatdown Boulevard again. Lynx Callista is incredibly pog champ. We'll see how well they can pog this champ as they actually start coming through. Remember, it's mostly about the damage that they can do to Dragku. What?
Sorry, I wasn't ready for that one. Yeah, his Callista is pretty pog though. I said it during the pregame that he had a game where he pretty much styled on Wixie playing this Callista.
Yeah. Yeah, it is one of the more classic characters that he plays. And it's interesting to me when you have like more quiet, reserved kind of players just pop off on these like really aggressive characters. And Lynx, like, if you guys were watching the pro review during the break, he's very, very chill, very reserved, like doesn't have a whole lot of pop-off moments like as a person in terms of like, oh yeah, let's frickin' go, we killed all of them. It's like, no, that was a good play, you guys, well done.
He embodies lo-fi hip-hop as a player. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm wrong?
No, well, he is lo-fi player to study and relax to a lot of the time, and now he's trying to not relax as he is bringing out this Callista. And again, one of the reasons why Nautilus has been really unexciting to a lot of analysts for a lot of the time is you just lose trades most of the time. Like, Nautilus doesn't actually do a lot of damage.
I've always liked Nautilus when you have like some level of pick that Nautilus can set up for you, but in the lane it can be quite the challenge, and you're definitely going to feel this with Lynx and Skytech being on this Callista Renata duo. This is such a volatile, aggressive bot lane combo to have.
Yeah, and you see that Dragku starting with the shield early on will not be able to really affect the lane at all, just going to kind of give up a lot of pressure for the first couple of levels, and so that's part of why we're seeing Svenskeren come towards the bottom side and actually throw an early ward to protect themselves from Winnie.
And there's that level 2. Oh, pushed right back in, poor Dragku. It's like, I can get away from this harassment if I don't stand next to it. Skytech, get over here!
Get over here. We're not done with you. But both junglers coming towards the bottom side of the map. Winnie will get spotted crossing into Svenskeren's side of the jungle. The ward proving to be very good, but Winnie's spotting it out.
Has yet to spot out Svenskeren. We'll get him with the sweeper right now. Yeah, barely going to see that silhouette. Now Svenskeren engaging onto Winnie. The thing, you do get a lot of damage. The lower Svenskeren's going to get, flashing over the wall. Skytech looking for it, but gets caught out by Dragku. The crowd control of the Nautilus is too much, and now there's no escape. Wild Turtle will get first blood.
Oh my gosh, that bubble from Doxa so perfectly placed. There's nowhere left for AOE to go, and they pick up a kill onto Skytech. Winnie trying to stick around to see what else they can do, but that was a play coming through from AOE. We said the game would not be boring, and it's already living up to a crazy early play.
Right there, Doxa getting that roam out. That's what you like to see. That zone control, just having the bubble there. You have nowhere else to run. Skytech had already burned the flash earlier. And it's great for TSM because it's Callista Renata once again. Look at this. Hanser critically low. Gamsu flashes in, wants to finish it off with the auto. Tired of Hanser's BS. Gamsu will get the solo kill.
Oh, that was close too. Hanser will be able to get most of this CS with the teleport back, but Gamsu coming up a huge differential early game from what we were seeing last time, able to cement this lead in by actually finding the solo kill. And AOE really needed that, considering how Skytech is going to be losing a lot of the early pressure based on that early death. It is so important that you have an Echo somewhere else on the map to keep yourself in the game.
Big solo kill for Gamsu. Player well experienced, in a lot of semi-pro. So many times has been into Proving Grounds, but now focus is gonna be bottom side. Turtle getting pulled right back in when he's there. And Draku, that tells you exactly what the situation is down here. Lynx rends down Wild Turtle.
Yeah, you could see that Ling's also with the bailout ready to go. I mean, I was wondering if he was going to wait until after Wild Turtle killed him the first time to use the bailout, but look at the CS differential coming in from the bottom lane. We were saying that they would lose some of their lead. Wild Turtle is now down to a third of his opponent's CS.
Bleeding out down there. Wild Turtle has not been able to farm that well. But that's that zoning that you have from both the Kalista and Renata.
Yeah, we'll take another look at this top lane play, and the big thing here is Hanser, not yet level 4, is trying to take this play, but Gamsu does a really good job getting the combo down. You knock somebody behind you, and then you continue to knock them back. And then Hanser, I mean, just a little bit greedy here, right? Gamsu has enough mobility to zoom forward, and with this next one, the flash, and I was worried because the auto attack was canceled, but still enough time because of how long the stun actually lasts.
We almost had a different kind of instant replay as Winnie tries to visit that top side to continue dismantling Hanser. Comes the paddle star. Hanser, a big player for TSM, still plays well individually and is able to spread that across the map for TSM, which has gotten TSM some wins here and there. Was a big part of that game 1 win that we had a little bit earlier. Smart plan of attack to come out of AOE, and Gamsu's got to feel good getting that solo kill.
Yeah. I mean, Gamsu has also been a player that really grows over the course of the season, right? Basically every spring and like early on in summer tends to kind of struggle, but as you start moving towards the playoffs, Gamsu does so much better when you're actually in a tournament kind of setting, and now looking to go for him again. This is a tough dive.
It's a nice setup just because you have the Elise and you can jump to the rafters, but it's a Scion that you're trying to dive right now. Not the easiest to follow through on, and Hanser will survive.
Yeah. I mean, I like the play, or the idea coming out from Winnie as Doc's trying to pressure in the mid lane, but I mean, a lot of Winnie's early plays this game have been with kind of mixed results, right? The bottom lane gank worked, the bottom side invade didn't. This is, you know, you get Hanser's ultimate out so he doesn't have any kill pressure coming on back, but now it's going to be, you know, how well can Winnie continue to snowball the small lead that they have built up? And so far, I'm not 100% sure where you actually kind of go for a lot of these plays.
That is tough. I mean, I'm still looking bot side just because it's Lynx and Skytech.
Nice.
The early aggression that they do have, beautiful by Skytech right there to pull Draku back in, and that could be the end for Draku. Oh, so close it was! The heal just barely in the nick of time to save Draku.
Yeah, good stuff. I mean, trying to wait until after the ignite was over does keep him alive, but still, I mean, this bottom lane, that's that brutal difference already coming through. It's not the 3 times, but uh-oh.
Sleepy? Is it me?
Not enough time. That definitely looked like a hook shoe right there. That was a little bit worrying. But so far, I mean, again, it's not the triple, but it is 68 to 37, a 20 CS lead. Winning.
A nice catch out. Oh, and the combo alongside the Sleepy Trouble Bubble up to the rafters, trying to find a way out. Spots it with a flash. Skytech body blocks.
Gamsu?
Now Gamsu has arrived to be the bodyguard for the rest of AOE, chasing out TSM.
Oh, good stuff. That's one of the things that you love about Elise, right? You go sleepy and you just repel, and you are sleeping in the rafters, like you said. Now AOE going to be taking total control of this Rift Herald. I would love to see Link start moving down immediately, and they do, trying to make sure that Wild Turtle does not have freedom to just freeze this wave for forever.
So how do you like this early state coming out from AOE? What do you think the checkboxes are for AOE to get going, at least in the win condition that they want?
Well, I mean, Lynx being strong is nice, but even nicer is the fact that Wild Turtle is weak. You know?
Yeah.
Like, Wild Turtle could still be a massive threat because of how strong the front line is from TSM. Like, they can create so much space. And so there's a whole lot of pressure now on TSM to get their front line strong, to buy time for Wild Turtle to farm up. And yes, Xayah is one of these big recipients of the fact that Navori and Infinity Edge now proc on 40%. You still need to get to 2 items, and that's a lot of time for Lynx to bully you around.
And Lynx has been enjoying a lot of that bullying down into the bottom lane, and just looking at the CS alone, I mean, it's almost 30 at this point separating these marksmen. Lynx and Skytech have doing a fantastic job. And we might see some more altercations in the bottom lane because I do spy a spider who happens to be pathing in that direction.
True. Krusty Krugos, not this time, going right on past him, still has the Rift Herald for a little while longer. Doxa's here to play.
Oh, Doxa with Svenskeren. Pinch coming out from TSM. Lynx will hop on to Doxa, but Doxa gonna walk away. Svenskeren flashes over the wall. Ooh, root found in, but Fate's call called by Lynx. Oh, Turtle! So damn good on this Xayah, man. But there is the shockwave from Dark Wings. And AOE looking to clean up the rest of this fight. A cease and desist found by Svenskeren. But it will only return one kill. It will not save the life of himself or Doxa. Double kill for Lynx.
That's so much money going over to Lynx all of a sudden. Great play coming out from Turtle, but 3 kills, 2 assists already picked up for Lynx. That fight looked horrible, Eric, but instantly AOE are able to come out ahead, 3,000 gold in the lead, and AOE, they're looking to tie up this series.
Great move coming out from AOE. I mean, this was a pincer. I was on board that TSM were going to win this fight, Josh.
Yeah, but the big thing is that Lynx gets the free hit for most of it, right? Almost taking down Svenskeren, but there's no real threat under this Kalista until here, where Wild Turtle, with the flash, actually roots them and really prevents Lynx from participating in the fight. But after getting that kill, the crazy Triumph proc that ends up coming through, Lynx is able to start hitting again. And when only your AD carry is hitting the other AD carry, that's usually not enough to actually take them down. AOE able to find the fight.
Shaden might have the Viego check. You know, with Moose Hater, you got the Garen check. Wild Turtle, apparently you got the Xayah check now. Some brilliant mechanics from Wild Turtle to turn around a lot of those plays coming out for TSM. Yep. That being said, though, it's not enough to stop this early game from AOE. Now 4K into the lead. Gonna need more out of Wild Turtle for TSM to start getting a gold lead their way, because you need a good amount of resource onto Doxa when you do have these poking champions to come alive.
Oh, for sure, and we will see how well Doxa kind of bounces back, right? A lot of that gold that Dark Wings picked up was not based on the early laning phase, and now AOE, they're dropping the Rift Herald for the bottom lane, trying to further accelerate Lynx. He's already about 2k ahead, and after this, it's gonna be closer to like 2.5. Whoa, Draku.
Oh, Draku. Huge blunder right there. Easy kill picked up by AOE. Hostile takeover expires right at the backside of Svenskeren, but the Ren gets a slow onto Wild Turtle. Featherstorm almost coming off cooldown. Not going to be needed. TSM escape.
Yeah, not a whole lot to say about that one. I don't really know what Draku is going for, but finds himself in the dirt, but only one crash comes through, and now Doxa.
Doxa on the flank, but so is Dark Wings. You'll only block out some of the path of the Sleepy Trouble Bubble, but this is just reactive play from TSM trying to survive an onslaught of AoE.
Yeah. Gamsu now looking for a bit more of a fight. They've done a great job turning it around.
Not again, Draku. Oh, this is too fast to be having this situation fall through. Wild Turtle gets up close, but you don't want to be there because this is not TSM's fight. Double kill now picked up for this Kalista, who is up to the holy high heavens, Josh.
Oh my god, Lynx is so strong at this point. So much of it has been preying on this support. That's what we said they were going to do at the very beginning, and now 6 kills. He has to be sitting on at least an entire item's worth of gold at this point. Whenever they actually back, I mean, AoE, this has been a much more exciting game than our first one, and so far AoE have been firing on all cylinders. Now, the win conditions from last game, the Haunter being super strong, they're not going to matter for a while. I mean, there's still a timer at about 30 minutes. Kalista will stop doing meaningful damage to Haunter, but you have a lot of time, 17 minutes, to actually put yourself in a position to win the game.
Mortal Shield Bow completed for Lynx. Almost done with that second item as well. So much economy for Lynx. This game plan's working out for AoE, and they're going to transition that economy towards this top side now. Rift Herald will be spawning within the next 30.
Yeah, and the plates will be disappearing, but Lynx still strong enough. They should be able to pick up... Oh, Winnie.
Ooh, Svenskeren. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this is the call, man. Oh god, here comes Lynx. You don't want to give more kill to this Kalista. Lynx goes godlike. Ah, you hate to see it. It's terrifying.
Are TSM in comms? What the hell was that?
No idea. Stop giving kills to Lynx, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's bad, but like, Doxa was backing and Svenskeren goes in? Like, I don't care what the call is, but like agree on it. That was bizarre. Now TSM are in a position where they can't do a whole lot. Down 8,000 gold at only 14.5 minutes into the game. Skytech, good hook.
Oh, beautiful by Skytech. Winnie missing the cocoon. A great dodge coming out of Doxa to slip away from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no structure for TSM right now. It doesn't even seem like they have a game plan.
No, I mean, it's really hard to make a game plan at this point, right? When kind of your entire map has collapsed all at once, it is really, really difficult to try and bring anything back. And so the question will be, how do they try and make things happen? That's a good start.
Looking for Lynx right now.
That's a good start.
Hook lands onto Lynx. Not gonna get the payback to proc. A good start for TSM, getting that shutdown.
Here comes Gamsu, though. They're not completely out of this one yet. And Doxa?
Doxa gets the bubble, but there's Darkwing. Shockwave goes off, flashed out by Doxa. Goes even. Gamsu waiting in the wings, but will not go with the flank.
The Toidle got that kill, right? He got the big shutdown?
Twodo?
Toidle?
Little?
Wild Toidle? I mean,
That took me a second.
That's big, though, right? That's a lot of money going over to Wild Turtle, and we've been critical of Wild Turtle. We've actually been more critical of Wild Turtle than we have of most of the rest of the team based on like how long that they've been playing and how well they've played historically. Now, with that sudden influx of gold, he's their, it's a long shot, but he is their one player who can really try and be the damage that this team needs. And Scarin is really far behind. Draku is really far behind. They can set him up, but they need to set him up. It's not about whether or not Wild Turtle can oftentimes make these plays. It's going to be a team effort.
Oh,
Whee!
a fight in the bottom lane, taken for a ride. It's going to be Hanser. He can't even take his own ride back to the house. Gets interrupted by Gamsu. Winnie trying to hold down this very, very tanky boy. Over the wall, Gamsu will come and finally able to break through the defenses of Hanser. Another pick for AOE.
Yeah, Hanser just trying to get, as many of those minions as they can, but that's one of my favorite things about watching Asante is those long ults. Now Wild Turtle trying to pick up this mid lane turret will do so.
One more.
That's a big bounty going over to the rest of the team, but it's also getting traded off the kill onto Hanser, and now effectively 2 more kills as they pick up another structure in the bottom side of the map. It's very tough for TSM to try and make these plays, and I actually really respect the fact that they are kind of playing like psychos in the mid lane, looking to see if they can pick up Darkwings.
What's their condition right now? Oh, caught out. Scarin inside the jungle. It's not his jungle, though, and one more chomp coming out from the fangs of Winnie. It's actually Skytech who will grab that kill.
Yeah.
But, yeah, as I was saying, what's their real win condition right now? Is it just getting more gold onto Wild Turtle? Because that's exactly what they're playing to, getting that bounty going, but still so far behind. 1.7k separates these marksmen.
I mean, realistically, you kind of have to play like psychos, right? And you have to flip heads over and over again that you don't get caught in situations like that. You can't afford to let your opponent completely dictate things. And so, oftentimes what happens in to use a chess analogy, Eric, and I'm going to shock you with that one. When you're down material, you need to go in a wild attack because usually in order to get that material, your opponent's pieces are misplaced. And that's kind of what TSM needs to do, is they just need to make wild attacks and hope that their opponents blunder in return. And that's definitely what was happening there. Unfortunately for Scarin, opponents didn't make a mistake and were able to catch him out. And so it just means that the wild situation, you're going to have to try it again, but without your pieces kind of set up on the board. You just don't have tempo to do anything anymore.
What they do have is the flash of Wild Turtle. Featherstorm's up. Gale Force is also there. These are going to be the most important tools because it's the most fed member by far. There's no one else who's really doing well. The only fed member.
Yeah. So, see what can actually come through. I still trust that Hanser will be as relevant as they can be. And, eventually as the game goes along, Doxa will get to play the game again, but not really going to be in a position to actually even one-shot anybody for quite a while, even some of the more squishy members. So the one thing that TSM need to be very aggressive about is making sure that their waves are pushed out and to wave clear really aggressively so that AOE cannot take any more structures.
Give me the wild play. Where is it, TSM? You start getting it through because this gold lead is not going to stop anytime soon. This bleeding is so bad. About AK. Who comes in, maybe looking for it. Ooh, getting low is Skytech, but there's that hostile takeover. Friends forced to fight. Battlestar comes through. AOE kind of fishing around for picks. Will come up empty-handed, but putting some authority and weight onto TSM.
Yeah. They still need to get the vision control in order to make those roams into the top side actually work out. But the big thing is, as long as this mid lane turret is standing for TSM, it is very hard for AoE to make these incursions happen effectively. And so the fact that Wild Turtle and Dox have been parked here for a while makes it very difficult for AoE to actually find some of these plays. So, I mean, credit to TSM where it's due, but this has 100% been all about the bottom lane. The fact that Lynx has really become the main player of this game.
A little bit more gold, and Lynx will have the third item done. This Kalista is just so terrifying to handle with. If you mess up any engage, Lynx will punish and tear that absolutely asunder.
Yeah.
Dreku has already been the recipient of that multiple times. I mean, Dreku didn't have a good lane, so this is a paper tank you have right here. Even Hanser suffered a little bit. Still a decent front line due to being on that top side, but
yeah,
it's still so much to ask.
I'm looking back at some of the history that Lynx has had on this character, right? The last time they played it was against Immortals Challengers. He went 8-1-4.
Oh, pick coming in. Wild Turtle's dead. That's all your economy gone. Double kill picked up by Lynx, and AoE go for Baron.
Yeah, that's going to be Baron. He's going to be having another fantastic game on Kalista, right? He played this like 6 times in a row during the Proving Ground Circuit qualifiers last summer. And now 9 kills, 1 away from those fabled double digits. The last time he was able to do that, I mean, they did it against CLG Academy in Proving Grounds last year. But again, Eric, this kind of feels like it's kind of wild, right? It's two, I almost want to say non-games, right? Like AoE did such a good job early on in the game that like TSM, it's not really a draft diff as much as it's just like, we just beat up on you so effectively.
Nothing went well for TSM. What do you have to bring to the party right now? I mean, AoE are just going to be looking to close this out. They're not really too worried about the game state because they have absolute control. Gamsu's going to fight out over here. I'm not the most worried for Gamsu. AoE.
You can go.
They're calling Winnie. Yeah, Gamsu could stay in that if he really wanted to.
Yeah. The mid lane turret falls, and suddenly AoE are way more safe walking into their opponent's jungle all over the place.
All right, so Garen going in. We'll find it on Lynx. Lynx did flash away. This is a lot of distance Lynx can create as a hostile takeover. Doesn't do too much. It's an opportunity. TSM are spacing well, but finally caught out as Svenskeren. Lynx will grab that kill. Shockwave, Dark Wings pulls Doxa back in, and Wild Turtle, the Featherstorm is not enough to save his life. Wings be clipped, but Doxa will get one pick back onto Winnie.
Gets one back, but I mean, they've lost so much. Doxa now trying to find Skytech, gets another one.
Doxa double kill. Okay, second pick found. What can TSM do with this now? Another shot, Paddlestar will not land, just barely expires in time. Out comes Sleepy Trouble Bubble flashing away. Lynx cannot continue the chase. Doxa will lose his flash in the process. 2 backline picks once again from Doxa, but Josh, this is the same thing I said before. I wish I could see these plays earlier.
Yeah, I mean, Doxa was well known for the ability to go for a lot of these crazy things during his time on Winthrop and at all the other semi-pro teams that they've played on historically, but as you said, like, it feels a little bit too little, too late. TSM do not have the strength to go for any of these fights. And AoE, they have Lynx. He's hit double-digit kills at this point. Again, one of the most famous picks that we've seen Lynx play throughout their time. And I love the fact that they picked this champion relatively early and just had a ton of faith that he would actually be able to play, even though it's not the most common champion right now. Knock him back.
And Dragon started up. TSM. What's going on? What's left in the wheelhouse? What do you got in the gas tank that can do anything for this insurmountable lead that AoE have?
It's a tough one. I mean, the difference between the two AD carries is monumental, right? An entire item and change already coming up from Lynx. Look at that. 3,000 gold? That's actually smaller than I thought it would be, but it's still so difficult for TSM to kind of find anything, right? The one thing that they do have is Lynx doesn't have Flash for another 2.5 minutes that maybe they can try and play upon, but they threw everything at him last time and they were not able to pick him down, and it did mean that Gamsu actually soloed out Turtle on the other side of the fight.
That being said, that was that flash used before. Scarin will try and utilize that flash being down. Out comes Hostile, take over. They're holding down Lynx, but they're not bringing the damage to take Lynx down, so he will tear apart TSM on an engage they chose. It is not, AOE are too strong, too rich, too powerful.
Hanser just using his ultimate to clear out minions and push them back in the mid lane, but I mean, there's already no turret in the mid lane. They can pick up that inhibitor. They can go towards the top side. Still 15 seconds on Svenskeren and Dragku. This one is only a matter of time, Eric, as we are 14,000 gold in the lead for AOE. Actually, a little bit surprised that the game is still going, considering like how much we've enjoyed watching AOE just go for these aggressive fights in the past, where they just look for these angles and they commit to them very hard. This is a much more tempered version of the roster.
Yeah. It's very slow and calculated coming out from AOE. And, I mean, they don't really have any pressure onto them to speed this up. They got the early game exactly the way they wanted it, with Lynx getting those early kills. Now you're sitting at a state where a 10-1-5 Callista on your squad, and nothing on AoE's side that can really stop it. For AoE, this is just going to be kind of a textbook finish that they're going to be closing out soon. Yeah.
And for TSM, right, we're looking for signs of growth, but this is in such stark contrast to the first game, right?
Big time.
I kind of want to compare how they played, because like in game 1, they didn't do a ton there either. It really was, to borrow Keel's terminology, it really was just a kind of a draft dip. Hanser got strong and AoE couldn't deal with it. And now I feel like a lot of the problems that we didn't quite see manifest in game 1 because they never had time to are starting to come together, right? In that last engagement, Svenskeren and Dragku committed for the fight and there wasn't a follow-up. In the previous one, Svenskeren committed for a fight and Doxa was trying to finish backing, right? It definitely feels as though the communications are not going the way that we were hoping to originally, and that's definitely going to be something that they're going to need to work on, but it's made so much more difficult based on the fact that they don't have a coach to help them figure it out.
You want this roster to be on the same page. You want them to find the places that they need to improve, but as you said, not quite the infrastructure there to make that a reality. Now Winnie looking for the game-ending play, gets the cocoon onto Svenskeren. Gamsu can't get the knockback, so Svenskeren survives the onslaught of AoE. But there's onslaught number 2 just waiting to happen. It'll come with a Baron buff. AoE peel off for the big purple worm.
Yeah. We are seeing the one problem that AoE has, in that they have no real primary engage tools. They're mostly relying on TSM to start attacking them, and so now they're looking for catches.
Svenskeren, oh my word. So much damage, so quick. Svenskeren's gone. Dragku walking away, escorting Doxa, but will get caught out. Depth charge knocked into the air. Lynx does not care because in the sky is his KDA as well. Chasing onto Doxa, flashes forward with the Fate's Call. Doxa goes golden, but it's only going to delay the inevitable, and that's the slaughter that Lynx will put onto TSM for a double kill and clean it all up with the cherry on top. It's going to be a triple kill found by Lynx for the game end.
This was a massive Lynx diff coming through. Like, the way that they have played this one out, 13-1-5, an absolutely dominant victory. An all-star in the bot lane. They continue it through, and now AoE, they tie up the series. So we thought this might be the difference maker between these two teams. It's going to just showcase that they are still so even.
And 1-1 apiece. As you said, tying up the series. AoE able to bounce back quite well. And I feel like, well, we started where we ended, Josh. Both of these teams are looking to improve their score lines. They started at 4-10, now going to be at 5-11.
Yeah, and we will see how they are able to improve over the course of the rest of the season. This is starting to get towards the second half of the season, and so you really need to start picking up these wins in order to improve your seeds going into the playoffs at the end of the split. They will all get to play, but for now, we are going to have the opportunity to kind of throw this away and come back, where I will be doing another interview with the victorious AOE Skytech.
Alright, you wind it up real tight now and you let it loose.
Okay.
Oh, hi there. I didn't see you. Welcome to another episode of Bros on the Range. I'm trying to teach my greenhorn Rafa here how to wrangle some critters.
Hey, y'all.
Let's go ahead and see if he can do it now, alright? Let's see. Give him the hat.
Yeah.
Alright, now we got Rose Thorn on the big pig, Rafa. I'm gonna teach you a little bit of pig call, alright? So,
Like this? So
what's it? It looks like Insanity's gotten out of his pen. Rafa, quick! Go
Okay,
get your lasso!
I got
you! Yeah, let's go. He's gonna get it. Hold on now, Rafa! Hold on! I know you can do it here! Take my hat! Take my hat! You can do it, Rafa! I believe in you! You can go! Hold on! Wait, no. Oh my God! Alright, Rafa. We're gonna take a little break now. Just make sure Moose Hater doesn't get Garen while I'm gone.
yeah, it's fine. I'll make sure he don't get it. Yeah, he's not getting it. Ain't gonna get that Garen, no sir.
Alright, I got some coffee. Rafa, god dang it!
Mazel, I'm sorry. I tried everything you told me to do, and I just feel like I can't do it right. Like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Man, I will tell you, you just gotta give it some time, alright? You see those two down there, APA and Bradley?
Yeah?
It didn't all start off nice and peachy. They weren't two bros in a pod. It took time, alright? It took time. And one day, we're gonna be just as bros as them.
Yeah. You know, Mazel, they really do sing.
They do, my young one. Oh, look at that.
Oh, look at it go. Okay. I didn't think you could do that. Hey. Look at it go. You gotta be careful about that one. Oh, this one's a fire.
Hey, see, we're gonna be just like them.
Yeah.
Just like them.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Thanks for being my bro on the range this week, Rafa. It's nice to have some company every once in a while.
Yeah, my pleasure. I'm sorry that kind of messed up your pen a little bit, but you know, appreciate your patience and I appreciate you roasting my wiener too.
You gotta stay protonized, that's what I like to say on the range.
Yeah.
Oh, they're still here. Well, that's a little awkward. Well, thank you all for coming in on the range for another week. We'll see you next week. Make sure you come back now.
Welcome back, everybody, to the LCS Challengers League. We are joined by AOE support Skytech after the most recent win over TSM Challengers. I mean, Skytech, we got to talk about it. Game 1, Game 2, almost completely different. Tell us a little bit more about the pivot you guys had between those two games and how you went from having a composition that had no damage to a composition that did so much damage right off the bat.
Yeah, for our first draft, we were kind of thinking of like play Herald, play topside, and bots more just like farming, just poking around. And then we felt like in game 2, we needed more explosive stuff happening around bot lane. So we chose like really good characters, our comfort picks. Like, can't leak the strats, but we picked some comfortable champions. And we just played to our strengths, just fight, fight, fight.
Yeah, now that actually makes me think of something because you and Ling's win together have had a lot of really strong laning phases, right? I think one of the first things I remember seeing from you guys was winning like 2v2s against Unforgiven and Destiny, who many people had pegged as one of, if not the best bottom lane in the league.
Yeah, we sit beside each other, we are good friends, so we talk about these matchups. And sure, there's like standards for every single matchup, but we kind of look for like those little cheeky angles. You know, we giggle about like, oh, we can just stay in the bush here, stay in the bush there. And it's just like the openness around us, and we just talk about stuff. So that's how we can play those matchups.
Nice. Well, it's good to see that. I know, like, you, Lynx, and Win, we often talk about how you've oftentimes played collegiate with each other for a long time. How much has that changed now that you guys are playing mostly in person at the same facility that Golden Guardians are at?
Yeah, it's great. It's helped a lot. But what I would say is that now that we're in a higher league, just not playing like an amateur, it's kind of tested us and made us rethink about what we were doing before. Like before, maybe we were just fighting a lot, and now we realize that some of those plays would be illegal. So it's kind of refreshing to rethink our mindset and our strategies about like maybe toning down the amount of times we fight.
Nice. Well, important question then. At your time at Western Ontario, were you guys living together?
No. We didn't even like really know each other at the beginning.
Oh.
We'd all live in different times in different places.
Yeah.
And we weren't really like super close at the beginning. We're kind of just like strangers just playing League.
Gotcha. But now, after having talked with Lynx, it sounds like the two of you plus Isaac, Darkwings, and Winnie all live together. So I'm going to ask you the same questions that I asked Lynx the past couple days. Who's the best roommate that you have?
The best roommate. And did Lynx give you an answer?
He did.
I mean, I'm probably going to say the same thing. I think Isaac, Darkwings, is such
Okay.
a good roommate. He's for the boys, thinks about the team. We have like obviously more responsible people out of the four and some people who just like chill. But I can't say who's like the lazier people, but I'd say
Ooh.
Darkwings is really, really good.
All right. I did ask Lynx who he thought the worst person to live with was.
And are you going to tell me?
I'll tell you after I get your answer because I don't want to put things in your head, you know?
Wait, and he actually answered?
He did. To be fair, he followed it up with, I think everybody's pretty cool. If I had to give an answer, it would be this
That'd be our
person.
answer. Yeah, I'll just say myself.
You? All
Yeah.
right. All right. Well, at least a vote of confidence, right? Like maybe if that's the worst, then it should be pretty okay. Now, we did say, as we were talking before the interview actually started, that you wanted me to ask you about some specific cool strategies or maybe cheesy strategies that you're looking to bring out on the Rift sometime soon.
Yeah, I just really like late invading, but I feel like this patch is not the best for it. That's all I want to say about that.
Oh, okay. Well, we will look out for that on future patches, especially when things like Aurelion Soul have come out as well. That's all I had for you today, SkyTech. So before we let you go, wanted to ask what kind of shoutouts you had to give before you go out for the rest of the day.
Shout out to my team. Shout out to my mom, my dad, my dog, and my hamster. And then shout out to Kaide,
Ooh, who's Kaide?
just like the streamer.
Oh, what's your hamster's name? That's a good one as well.
Timbit.
Timbit. All right. Well, shout out to Kaide and Timbit. Thank you so much, and congratulations on today's win, SkyTech. For now, here on the Challengers League, we have one more series left in the day, and that is Team Liquid Challengers going up against Cloud9 Challengers. Potentially one of our heavyweight smackdowns coming through very soon. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.